Disclaimer, while recording footage for this video, my copy of Sly 3 decided that it didn't want to load episodes 4 and onward, so the footage for the later parts of the game are from a YouTube channel named Crow's Graveyard. Thank you for your understanding, and
Greetings, welcome ladies and gents, I'm Super Gamer, and ever since I looked at Sly Cooper in the Thieves Raccoonus in Season 4, this Thieves Raccoonus has stolen my heart. You see what I did there? Ever since then, I've taken a look at Sly 2 Band of Thieves, and today I thought we'd finish off the trilogy by looking at Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves.
After the success of Sly 2, Sucker Punch Productions realized that they had a successful franchise on their hands. However, they also realized that the PlayStation 2 was reaching the end of its life cycle, so Sucker Punch came together to create one last Sly game in less than a year. Now, making a game in that small amount of time is a huge gamble. Some games have managed to pull it off beautifully, while most of the other ones flopped miserably. So how well does Sly 3 pull it off? Let's find out. This is Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. The game opens with Sly and the gang on Cane Island, the location of the Cooper Vault, which was hidden by one of Sly's father's colleagues, McSweeney. This vault is said to have all of the riches of the Cooper clan's past thefts. However, when the gang arrives, they discover that the island has been completely taken over and turned into a fortress by Dr. M, aka Dr. Maybe. Dr. M had apparently been trying to break into the vault for years, and yet he never thought to pay attention to that cane hole in the vault door. The gang, as well as a few unknown faces, attempt to break in when they are spotted by Dr. M, and his monster grabs Sly and throws his cane into the ocean. As Sly's about to get eaten, his life flashes before his eyes, leading us to how this adventure all started. The gang had realized that the heist wouldn't be enough for the three of them, so they set out to find the best of the best to upgrade the crew, including the Guru, Murray's master to find inner peace, Penelope, our sea specialist and Bentley's online friend, the Panda King from Sly 1, and Dimitri from Sly 2. Now, the story for Sly 3 is honestly my favorite. Sly 1 was a very unique story, but for what actually happened in that game was pretty familiar. Sly 2's plot was a step up from the first game, but had a plot twist that, without spoiling anything, was really friggin' dumb. Sly 3's plot knows what the team has been through and puts them in new challenges to raise the stakes, and it's all the better for it. Sly 3 graphically looks about the same as Sly 2. The graphics, the character models, the environments, they're all pretty much on par with Sly 2. The one thing that has improved since the last game, however, is the voice acting and the character interactions. This is some of the best character dialogue ever written for a platformer, partially because of the new option to decide what to say during certain cutscenes. Granted, it doesn't really matter what you say since it always ends the same way, but it's cool that they at least gave you the option. Heck, there's an entire conversation dedicated to pasta sauce of all things.
You know, I just can't get it out of my head. Have you ever had pasta sauce that tasty? I don't want to distract you or anything, but I just don't think I've ever had cooking that good. Are we like missing out on a whole universe of flavors here?
The soundtrack has also been stepped up greatly, and that jazzy music is a real joy to my ears, especially now that music plays whenever Bentley is explaining the heist, unlike in Sly 2. You can also play certain segments of the game in 3D with these Sly Cooper 3D glasses, and it's not very good. I don't know if it's my TV, my glasses, or my copy of Sly 3, but the 3D just doesn't look right. Now, something that really bothered me was the time of day for a lot of these heists. In Sly 1 and 2, most of the heists were set at night or early morning, which made sense because that's usually when a heist would take place. Sly 3, however, has the gang stealing things in broad daylight. Why? Wouldn't that be counterproductive and dangerous? This doesn't make any sense. Sly 3 doesn't really do all that much different from Sly 2, but to be honest, there wasn't really a whole lot that Sly 3 could improve on from last time, so instead it made some questionable changes to the stealth platformer formula. Let's go over the good changes first. Whenever you're in the safe house, you can now see who has a job and who doesn't, which is really helpful. Also, whenever you pickpocket someone, in Sly 2 you had to sell the things you stole manually, but in Sly 3, as soon as you steal something, it's automatically sold. Now it's time to get into the meat of this game, because Sly 3 has 8 playable characters, the second most characters in a platformer next to Sonic Heroes. Sly is the same as before. You're a master thief who can pickpocket enemies, climb pipes, balance on spires, and crawl under tables and air vents. Sly's gameplay is without a doubt the most fun, but that's not to say that some of the others aren't fun as well. Bentley is the demolition and tech member of the gang. He can put enemy guards to sleep, use bombs, hack computers, and since Bentley had his legs crushed in the last game, he now has an awesome jetpack wheelchair with all sorts of gadgets. But no cup holders? You're missing the essentials, man! Murray is the brawn of the group. He can punch his enemies to death, throw objects, carry enemies, and has a new ball form which can be used for either stealth or just plain being a buffoon. Now for the new characters. Inspector Carmelita Fox, Sly's pseudo-love interest and constant targeter, is now playable, even if it is for only a handful of missions. Carmelita's gameplay plays like a third-person shooter. You can jump really high, strafe, and with your input, she can actually hit her targets. Took you long enough. The Guru, I feel completely mixed on. The Guru can't traditionally attack enemies, but he can transform himself into an inconspicuous object and possess enemies to ram them into things. But that's really it. Penelope is almost pointless gameplay-wise. She can control RC vehicles and that's it. Sorry, this character just feels pointless to me, and the fact that Bentley could do the same stuff in Sly 2 really doesn't help. Panda King, like, man, why do I even bother? It's bad enough that his boss fight in Sly 1 was a joke, but he's just so uninteresting to play as. Dimitri is used for underwater segments. That's it. Man, talk about quantity over quality. Out of all 8 characters, Sly, Bentley, and Murray are great, Carmelita is pretty good, and everyone else I couldn't give 2 craps about. I appreciate that these characters are important to the plot, but if you're going to include them in the gameplay, at least let them be interesting. Sonic Mania's characters, these ain't. And that's not all that's wrong with Sly 3. Remember clue bottles? Yeah, those things? Those things were awesome, as they not only rewarded you with new power-ups, but also gave you an incentive to explore the levels. Sly 3 has straight up removed clue bottles altogether, making any and all reason to explore these locations meaningless. These places might as well just be flat platforms with textures on them. Finally, the bosses in Sly 3 are more of the same as Sly 2, which consisted of hit the guy until he dies! I'm not even kidding, man, these bosses are just plain dull and go on for way too long. It's a shame too, because some of these characters are actually really fun to watch, like Octavio and the Black Baron. However, there is one boss that I actually really love, and that is the second boss. The Mask of Dark Earth possesses Carmelita, turning her into a Colossus-sized monster. And the final phase of the boss is a hilarious homage to Shadow of the Colossus. Don't believe me? Let me put some music to it.
And now it's time for the spoiler section.
Ah, spoiler alert!
After seeing all the events leading up to the present day, we return to Sly about to get eaten when Carmelita shows up just in time to wreck the monster up. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang searches everywhere for Sly's lost king, as it's the key to the vault. Dr. M then shows up with Sly's cane and reveals that he used to be partners with Sly's father back in the day, but felt that he was treated poorly, so he devised a plan to take back what was rightfully his. After breaking into the vault and having one last final boss, Carmelita shows up and Dr. M blasts Sly as he takes the shot for Carmelita, which then she proceeds to blast the crap out of Dr. M. Carmelita wakes up Sly to find that he has amnesia, the most overused plot device in all of fiction. Regardless, Carmelita uses this as an opportunity to make Sly her new partner under the name Constable Cooper. They escape as the vault crumbles, killing Dr. M with it. The rest of the gang finds Sly's cane as well as a calling card in the alternate entrance to the vault, soon going their separate ways, and Sly enjoys life on the other side of the law with his memory wiped. Or does he? Oh, Sly, you devil. Overall, Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves was an okay game. For everything that it does right, there's at least 3 things that it does wrong, at least in my opinion. Sly 3 is by no means a bad game, but definitely not one of the best PS2 games ever made. I'm going to give Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves a 3 out of 5. If I had to rank the Sly games from best to worst, it would have to be Sly 2, Sly 1, and lastly Sly 3. But in the end, the Sly series has been one of the most fresh and exciting games for me not only to play, but to talk about in years, and I will always come back to these wonderful games, warts and all.
Until then, I'm the Super Gamer, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!